Yami Afi Egushowo, that's the person who turns wealth to wealth. Afi Iketole Kile Simon Jaffi, the one who decorates the house with plastic and transforms it into a palace. Afi Awoshe Shogiri Yogiri Maka, the one who uses broken ceramic to beautify the walls, like the walls of Mecca. Afi Akisa She Awuran, the one who uses rags to make arts. And finally, Afi Ishorore She Ijoko. Ire is the tree of rubber. So Ishoro is something that's the products of the rubber tree, meaning tire, the one who uses the products of the rubber tree to make seats. Join me to welcome none other than Adejumoke Oluwokiri, known popularly as Oluwo Waste. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm sure she didn't see that coming. I mean, I am wild. Mariam, you're on another level entirely, I must confess. But I mean, let's tell our audience more about our guest for today.
Yes, okay. So, Madam Adejumoke, I beg your pardon, is a graduate of the University of Ibadan. And she's had over a decade experience teaching as a visual arts teacher. So I think that explains a bit about her, but I don't want to do the job. I want her to tell us about what we are here to discuss, which is her very unique sustainability solution, which is the Waste Museum. Auntie Adejumoke, would you like to?
Adejumoke, what is wrong with you and your grandma? Leave your grandma alone.
Yes, my grandmother's name is Adejumoke. So when I saw her name, I just like, hi, yeah, so I've just made her my grandma by force. Auntie Adejumoke.
Good afternoon, everybody. What was that? Was that an weekend? Oh my God! You have to type out that wiki and then share it all so that I can share with people.
Yes, so
that was mind blowing. Kilo Stella. Where did that come from?
Yes, inspiration from meeting an amazing person like you. I was inspired.
Oh my gosh! I'm flabbergasted, mortified, petrified, stupefied.
that's beautiful.
Okay, so thank you. So we know a lot about waste. Thank goodness for all the news around it. So, for example, we know that plastic was produced in 1807 by Leo Baekeland, who did that apparently to save the elephants from becoming extinct, because during the peak of the ivory trade, about 1,000 tons of elephant tusk was shipped to Europe alone per year, right? So it was a huge abuse, really, of animals at the time. So when the plastic came out, it was like, oh, this is the savior for animals. Fast forward 200 years, and 700 species are endangered by this savior, the plastic. And we know the work you do with it. I'll let you do the honors to tell us. Glass. It takes 4,000 to 10 to a million years for it to decompose, depending on the condition. And again, you do amazing work with ceramic. The tires, 78% of microplastics comes from tires. It takes 200 years for cotton to decompose. Not to mention the freezer and the problems with freezer, and even that you upcycle. Talk to us about how you do all these amazing things with these very serious issues, yet you trivialize it almost with the way you take the waste management to what I think is an epochal level.
You're muted at the moment, so we can't hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so honored to be here, and it's very amazing what beautiful things that we could do with the waste, only if we put our mind to it.
it's not something I did in school or something that I learned from anywhere. It's just something that I picked interest in, and I was asking questions. And the questions I was asking, nobody could answer the questions for me, so I decided to be the answer. You know, and the question started from my kitchen, and the question is, why do we have to throw our waste away? Isn't there something else we can do with the waste? You know, when I asked the question, it looks like a very foolish question, because everybody I asked was asking me back, what else are you supposed to do with your waste if not to throw the waste away? And I just have this strong feeling that waste could mean more. We could explore waste to do more. But I didn't have any background of what I could do with it. I didn't have any information at my hand of what I could do with it. But I just have this strong sense of feeling that there's something we could do with it. And exploring that question is actually what brought me here today.
So I'll say that God actually put you on earth to be the solution to that. And that's the only reason why it came from within. It was inside, it was burning, and it had to come out. So we thank God for, making you connect with your purpose on earth. And so it's beautiful.
And it's actually been amazing, because for each waste, this thing is very personal. It's actually very personal. Before I even realized that it was a global issue, it was so long, because it was like a personal mission. For each waste, even if it's just a bottle cover, that I'm able to save, give a life to, give worth to, give value to. And what I do is actually not cutting across only waste material alone. It actually cuts across plants, it cuts across animals, it cuts across humans. So for everybody that I meet that feels like giving up before, after meeting me, they have a little bit of hope. They want to do more. They don't want to give up on their dreams. They want to try more. I feel it's a personal, victory. For every waste I'm able to save, give a new life to, give a new value to, somebody else wants it instead of throwing it away, I feel that I've achieved something. So it's very, very easy to actually, please me, or it's very, very easy for me to move on, because everywhere I turn, I see one person, one waste, one idea, one thing, that is getting a new life just because of meeting me or being inspired by what we do. And I think that is one major thing that keeps us going.
Amazing. So in February 2022, you started the Waste Museum. Talk to us about that.
When I asked that question in my kitchen that year, I didn't have an idea of where it's going to lead to, but because I kept on working on it, it started unraveling, day by day. I started with the holiday camps for children, where I just gather the children around me together. We explore using our hands. Before we start anything, we bless our hands first. We say, "These are my hands. God gave them to me. They are blessed. Whatever I do with my hands shall prosper. My hands are blessed." I also say it to me, but everybody raise up your hand like this and say it after. We say, "Ọwọ́ mi lélẹ́yìí. Ọwọ́ ìbùkún ni. Olúwa ló fi fún mi. Ohunkóhun tí mo bá dáwọ́lé, á yọrí sí rere. Ọwọ́ ìbùkún lọ́wọ́ mi." So that is what we've been saying like almost 15 years now. And so our focus is on the hands. And so I was just trying to, let children and people around me change their focus from watching too much of TV, focusing more on maths and English and chemistry and physics that we can do in class. And I was just trying to shift people's attention from that to life, to things happening around us, to colors around us, to plants around us, to how things grow around us. I realized that many children around me don't even know how plants grow. They don't know what is purple plants. They've never seen okra grow. They've never seen how where is the weed is coming from, and all this I think are basic knowledge to life. So that was how we started initially.
But incidentally, a lot of us, our parents did subsistence farming, so we actually know these things, because ground just out of your room, and there's potato there, there's a wedge, there's sweet, there's corn, there's in your compound. So
Yes.
I can resonate. This resonates with me directly.
And and then we started we became very knowledgeable, and everybody became very touche, and we stopped farming, we stopped gardening, and nobody wants to touch the soil anymore because the soil is dirty. And we started rearing children that are
soil ourselves.
yes. Then, and so we started rearing children that don't even know how coconut looks like. There was a camp we had, and I told some of the children to go to the back of my kitchen to bring the coconut plants, and they came back and said they cannot find it. That they only saw a brown stone, and I'm like, brown stone. That brown stone is coconut, and that was actually that was a light bulb moment for me to realize that our children are growing up without the basic knowledge. Fine, they can be very good at mathematics and English and chemistry and physics, but if they cannot identify plants around them, they cannot identify natural gifts that God has given unto us. It's like we have something in the Shokoto that we're looking for it in Shokoto. So, that was how the whole thing started, and we started exploring it. And gradually, somebody saw what I was doing and invited me to our school. We became an international school. I became a visual art teacher without any background of art. I remember when I was doing the interview, I didn't even know what is primary color. I didn't even know what is theory of color. And I was telling them at the interview, I said, I don't have any theory of art. They said, no. The practicals that we've seen you do is good enough for us. When you are trying to teach the student, then you can also learn it. So it was while I was trying to teach the students, that was when I actually learned all the theories around practical visual arts, climate action, climate change, SDGs, and all that. And, as I was teaching the children, I was also actually learning. And that was amazing. And so, fast forward to 2017, the question you asked, I have not forgotten about the Waste Museum opening at February 16, 2022, but that was not how the story began. The story actually began way back. And, 2017, I was planning for my 40th birthday, and I decided to give back to my community that I've lived all through my life. I was not from Ibadan, but I was born in Ibadan, primary school Ibadan, secondary school, university of Ibadan. All my life I've lived in Ibadan. So when I was preparing for my 40th birthday, I realized that I've lived all my life in this same city, and that now is the time for me to give back to that same city. I did not have money, I did not have anything to give back, but I looked back and I said, God always gives there's nobody that God has not given a gift to. And so when I looked back and I said, what gift, what do I have available when I can give? That, I don't have to go and loan money, I don't have to go and, what do I have now? And the only thing I could point to that I had was that I had the gift of turning waste into wealth. I could see a waste now, and I could tell you 20 things I can do with it that will turn the life of that waste around. So I realized that was a gift, and I have it available abundant. I can give that without charge, because I wanted the program to be without payment. So that was what I used in 2017 to go to 40 public schools all around Ibadan for 13 months, and I was able to teach them how to turn the waste that they brought to the school. I was able to teach them how to turn it into playgrounds, into different arts, and we did that for 13 months. And I was able to reach out to over 25,000 school children in the public school in Ibadan. So it was while I was doing that for the first time in my life, I realized that I don't want to do any other thing else. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I don't want it to be an NGO. I want it to be a sustainable business. And so I looked up social enterprise, and it was in that process that I registered a company for the first time. All along I was just doing it for passion. I was just doing it as a hobby, like a side, doing the holiday kind of a thing. But to within that 2017, 2018, I decided to turn it into a business. Because that 13-month experience was very strong in my heart, and I felt I could take this to another level. I could use this to empower my community. I could use this to empower people in my community. I could use it to train people. I could use it to enlighten people's mind. I could use it to set people free. And so I registered a company, and I turned it into a business. So we started, doing different projects. We go to different schools, we go to different communities, introduce what we were doing, and the kind of products we were coming up with. And it was in that simple process I realized that when people see our products and they know that it is from waste, it becomes very easier for them to also want to do the same. And so I was just also, in my space one day, and then I had it in my spirit, the Waste Museum. So I actually thought that it was something that somebody was doing. So immediately I had the Waste Museum, I was like, wow, that's an amazing idea that we could copy. I actually thought somebody was doing it. So I said, that's amazing. we can copy that, do it here. If we have a museum to showcase the beauty of waste, then people don't have to be, running around. Once they see what you can do with waste, they can go back to their own space and replicate and do the same thing. So I brought out my phone and said, wow, that's a good idea. I would love to do that in Ibadan. I know that there was no waste museum in Ibadan, but I actually thought it was somewhere else. So I brought out my phone and said, let me see the idea of the waste museum that people are doing so that I can copy it. So I typed the waste museum just like that, and it came back and said cannot be found. So I'm like, waste museum in Africa, and then it came back again and said cannot be found. And then I said waste museum in the world, and it took me to a place in India, Hyderabad, where they used scraps to create the 7 wonders of the world. So that was where it dawned on me that, wait a minute, the waste museum, it doesn't exist, nobody has thought about it. And the next thing I told myself is that nobody has thought about it, and that means the world is waiting for me to do it. And that was when we started. And so we kept on working on it, the idea kept on building, I kept on telling people, sharing. Since that 2018, I was sharing with people until nobody, everybody was just laughing at me. I'm like, well, what is he talking about again?
Because it's alien. What's he on to now? What's this new thing?
So I just kept on sharing. I believe that every community should have a waste museum. Every community should have a way to showcase their waste. Every community should have a way to maximize the power in their waste. And we kept on working on it until 2021, when we got the application from the US Embassy. We got the application and we were picked, and we were the only person that was picked around this region, and that was how the US Consulate came on board to support the dream, and we now officially open, February 16, 2022.
Amazing. That is just a very beautiful story. As you were speaking, I thought how amazing it is that kindness was the springboard for your own business success, and how often we undermine the small acts, or this wasn't small, 25,000 children, that isn't small, but still, how you mentioned that we can, how I gleaned from what you said, that whatever we have, there's nothing too small to give back to society but with. And as you were speaking, you said 30 products. So how do you, what are these products? If you can mention some of the products, overtext products that you have made from your from waste, and how you turn that into business.
Okay, we have furniture made from waste. We have playgrounds made from waste. We come to your place, we install playgrounds for you made from waste. We install in your school, in your community center. We have furniture, we have outdoor furniture, we have indoor furniture, we have artworks for outdoor, for indoor. We have murals, wall murals for your outdoor spaces. We have jewelries, we have accessories, we have planters, we have artworks. We also help you to install your own garden, organic garden, so that the waste museum model actually involves plants, animals, humans living together without generating waste. So we encourage people to grow their own garden, to grow their own food, to grow their own medicine, starting with their backyard compound, starting with their walls, using waste from tires, waste from bottle covers to build the planters. So we create customized planters for families and organizations. We help you to do souvenirs. If you want to have if you want to do gifts, you have a program and you want to make gifts that are eco-friendly. So we help you to do souvenirs that are eco-friendly, made from one form of waste or the other, so that you can, part of your story can be that through this year event, you have been able to save certain number of waste from, becoming pollution, and you have been able to turn them into a product. So we have diverse products. We also do trainings. We train on each and every one of these things. We train people how to turn, their waste into jewelries, how to turn their waste into furniture. We also teach you how to turn it into Christmas tree, outdoor installations, playgrounds for your school, school area,
Yes, Yes, thank you very much. So as you were talking, I was just thinking, oh, so I'm getting married now and I want to make something amazing to mark this. I can come with some of my waist and come with my partner's waist and come to you and say, make me something that is going to be really amazing. That would be maybe a centerpiece in our home and something we can, start our journey together with.
Yes, that's what we do.
That's what it's amazing. So do you, for example, if I was a company, or an institution and I want to make my thing for this year, so all the activities we're going to have, parties, meetings, I want to be themed as waste to wealth team. Can I come to you and say, please come and be the party planner for this particular event, and everything should be made from waste, from the decoration to the
we've actually done something like, we've done so many of that. We've partnered with so many companies to organize even
network glitch. Don't do this, please. I'm loving this.
Organization. We've supported organizations around us to create, sustainability events whereby we even help, apart from creating, apart from planning the events and ensuring that all the events are available, we even help them to train the people in their community. So we've done that with several organizations. We also help you to plan for your landmark birthdays. If you are doing birthdays, you want to do 50th birthdays, we can help you to train 50 people, 50 girls on how they can turn the waste around them into things around. We can help you go to your communities. We can help you go to your alma mater schools and help you train the children in the school. We can help you do something in your alma mater for your sake, in your name, around waste, climate change, sustainability, and environmental education. So we do a lot of B2B like that with organizations. We've done with a lot of even international organizations, before, where we help them to plan sustainability events, train the people in their community on their own behalf. We've done that.
Amazing.
We do that.
That's amazing. Where are you from? You said you're not from where?
I'm from my parents. I am from Ibadan. My parents are from Abeokuta.
Okay.
Wow, you've naturalized as an Ibadan girl officially. So.
Okay, that's fine. So the training, I want to know, if I come to you and I want to train you, okay. Train me. How long would I be able to acquire these skills so that I can go away and start my own museum?
The beautiful thing about what we do is that every one of our trainings, we are all lifelong learners. Okay. Because even me now, I'm still training. But for you to be able to start, what we normally do at our training is to give you the basic background, like a upcycling 101 kind of a thing, whereby you know the tools that you need to use, the basic knowledge that you need to use. But every day you must keep learning. Every day you must keep changing. The way we do our furniture last year is not the way we're doing it this year. So we're not teaching you everything. We're only teaching you the background, the basics, how you can handle your tools, how you can start, what you need to do to start, and then we teach you how to start.
So
but you will still have to be the one. You will have to go back to your own space and keep evolving. But once you are our students, you are a lifelong student. Anytime you have any issues, anytime you even get jobs that you cannot handle, you can always call us. Anytime you need help, you can always call us. Anytime you want to do a refresher course, you can always come back. Once you are our students, you're always a student, because even we ourselves, we're learning new skills, we're learning new ways. I was telling my students, we had a training last month, I was telling them, I said, what I was teaching them now was not how I was doing it 2 years ago. So I have changed because based on whatever challenges we face, maybe there's a particular material that's no longer available, or the particular material is more expensive. You have to look for, ways of how you can go about it, what you can change, what you can turn around. So you are always learning. You can't sit down and say, oh, I've come to the Waste Museum, I've learned, and that's the end of it, and so I'm good. No. But for you to be able to do any of this, it depends on you. We've had people that come in for 4 weekends, and they're able to catch what somebody that have stayed with us for 1 year cannot catch. So it all depends on you. Did you get that now? So
yes, I got that.
People can come in 4 weekends in a month. That's like 1 month's training, and they'll be able to get as much as somebody that is even staying 1 year can get. So it all depends on you.
Okay. So is there accommodation available?
We can help you get accommodation.
All right. Do we have to pay for the training?
Oh, definitely, it's not free because we're not an NGO.
Okay. Do you have franchise? So if after learning from you, like you said, it sounds like I have mentorship automatically. However, do you run it like a franchise as well, where even if I didn't train with you, if I already have my own ideas, but I want to be connected to you, so I'll say, okay, I'm running a franchise of the
we are looking at starting a franchise for the Waste Museum because we want my dream for the Waste Museum is for it to actually be in every city, in every state, and in every African country. So if, for example, you are in Enugu and you want to have the Waste Museum, you will come over, you will pay a certain amount, we will train you, we will also come over, we will help you set it up, and then we'll hand it over to you, and it is your thing. But we'll give you the guidelines, we'll give you the prototype, we'll give you everything that you need to do to know on how to run a waste museum. That's actually what I want to do with the waste museum model. I want it to be a franchise whereby everybody can own it in their different states. So you now put your own, it's creativity, it's a work of art. So you put in your own creativity into it, but it has a basic foundation. So we will just train you on the basic foundation and then we'll hand it over to you. So we are talking to some people already. We already have a connection in Abuja, we already have in Ekiti, we're looking at Akadina and Kano also. And there's a convention that is going on, ongoing, and we want more people to also buy into this. And it is it's affordable, it's something that everybody, and government can do it, individuals can do it. I'm an individual, I'm doing it already. If you're an individual, you can join. If you're a state, you can join. Anybody can join.
Amazing. So how do you leverage on technology?
Well, we are using technology right now. That's what is connecting us to the whole world, and that is also what we use to share. We use it to share our works. We use it to share our. We also have the website. We also use it to share our trainings. There's a training coming up at the end of this month, for example, now. That is going to come up in. That is going to be on. That's going to be on online. So we use technology a lot to try to reach out to more audience and to try and connect with more people with our trainings, with our products, even with our programs. And also we also use it to reach out and do a call out for donations depending on the project we're doing, because we're a social enterprise. Most of our profit is actually going back into the project. So many times we do lots of community engagement whereby we need support, we need donations, we also need people to come in and sponsor. So we've been using technology to do that, and so far it's really been helping us.
Do you have a tour of the museum on your website?
Yes, there are some pictures of the museum, and we also try to do a lot of video feedbacks of some of our guests. They are on our website and they are also on our social media pages.
Okay, so how do you, for the souvenirs you have, you've talked to us through some of the products you have. So if I come to your museum and I want to leave with a souvenir, do you have, for example, an example of a souvenir that has the circular economy meeting hydroponics in one? So for example, a bottle that you picked off the street that you have engraved the Waste Museum on, and you've put maybe away in it, which is blood tonic leaves, and I can go home and you give me a sachet of nutrients that I'll use to replenish that fluid over time. Yes. So do you have something like that?
Yes, we have so many souvenirs here that you can actually work. Okay.
And Tim, I didn't get that. Can you say that again, please? I was asking about the souvenir.
Yes, we have the souvenirs available at the museum. When you come to visit, there are so many souvenirs around that you can take along. We also have seeds and seedlings. We have jewelries. We have bracelets. We have planters. That you can actually buy and take along.
Amazing.
And we just launched our herbal tea, also made from our leaves, recently. And so that is also available at the museum. We also have balm, analgesic balms that you can also take along. So
the network is actually a bane in my neck right now. But anyways, for those of you just joining us, we are looking at the Waste Museum, teaching us. Yeah, we lost you for a bit. I think the network is misbehaving. So please unmute and just go on.
Yes, so I think some calls are trying to come in, so I think that is what is cutting off the meet. Okay. So we have a lot of souvenirs available at the museum, anybody that's working in. But some of the things that we also do are also on order. So we have some that are already available, and then if you also want to order and you want us to transfer it or send it to you wherever it is that you are, we also have that available also.
Just a quick, as you spoke about the parks and all of that, what does it entail? So if a community is maybe a small estate, just say, oh, we have this we don't have a park for the kids. I would like to engage the kids. Or can you organize a sort of a 2 hours training session for the kids, like a camping session? What kind of figures are we looking at? How expensive are your trainings? So if you had to come,
our trainings are always affordable, because all we try to do is to work with your budget.
okay,
You understand? So depending on how the scope can be very different. So if you tell us that, oh, we have a 50,000 naira budget for our community children, we want you to come in for 1 hour or 2 hours, we will streamline what we're working with according to your budget.
so in that kind of instance, give me an idea. I'm actually taking this seriously because
Yes,
I'm
it
considering
will also
something. So for example, when I
Yes,
engage
so-
with you, would you tell me, or start gathering bottles, and so or
if you call us for any projects in your environment, we have the material, we have the waste, we have everything. Most of the time, we try to involve the community involved by telling them, oh, just look for plastic bottles, just for us to involve them. The reason why we're involving them is not because we don't have that waste material, but we want them to, we just said that, okay, every participant should come with 2 bottles from their house, for example. We may end up using 10 bottles each, but we will tell them to come with some so that they can also be part of
Project.
that process. Yeah. So basically that's what we do. For example, if we are doing a project for a community, for a school, we can tell the school, okay, donate, find a particular, okay, we just did a project in Lagos last week for Earth Day. And so we asked the school to look for 1,000 bottles, because we wanted to do a gazebo for them. So we asked them to look for 1,000 bottles, for example. And so the schools were able to look for the bottles. The donor, the people that is, the person that is in charge of the training was also able to get some of the bottles. We just went there with the other material that we needed. So we did not have to go with the waste. So that's what we basically do with communities. When I was doing the PP40 project, it was the student that brought all the waste that we used, including the tires, including the plastic bottles. They were the one going around looking for all the waste. We just went there with the other material that needed to turn the waste into wealth. So basically that's what we do. So for every project we want to do, we involve. There was a playground we did in a school. It was the students and the teachers and the parents that looked for over 350 tires that we used in that school.
wow. That is
Okay, you will see to the children that will tell you, mommy, they say we should bring tire. Mommy, you have not brought my tire. Daddy, our tire, So you see that engagement, you see that communication, you see that connections, that commitment. So everybody's putting their hands together. And so by the time they bring all the waste tires, and then they're able to now with their hands also. Most of the projects we do with schools also, we don't just go there and do it behind the children. We involve the children, we ensure that the children are there. They are part of the project so that they can own it. They will see the transformation from the waste turning it into well. So they are part of the process, and that way they will never forget it, and they will become part of the project, and they will be able to.
Themselves will be a sustainability ambassador at the end of the day.
Yes.
For some reason,
Yes.
it sticks. The memory will
It
stick.
sticks better. Yes.
Subconsciously, they then start to fall into line in terms of
Yes.
doing sustainable things by themselves. Yeah.
Now, thank you so much for that. I want to go into specifics now. I know you've already started giving some examples, so I think we'll just carry on with that line. Because one of the questions I wanted to ask was, if I had maybe my students collect lots of glass bottles, and I wanted to build to build a house, for them, maybe at the center of our school or in the farmhouse or something like that, used as a barn. Do you have the building capacity, so the architectural know-how and all of that, to do such projects? So I heard you said gazebos. I'm thinking, okay, maybe is that something?
Yeah, we don't. Most especially for project that is that involves some form of professionalism, we don't do it alone. We get in, bricklayers. We get in. When I was doing the Waste Museum project, I didn't do it alone. I work with carpenters. I work with bricklayers. They have the skill. They have the background skill. So what I just do to them is that I give them the design that I want to do, and what materials I wanted to do. Like for example, when I was doing the museum ceiling, I told my carpenter, I said, I'm not going to be using the regular ceiling, I want to use tile. And my carpenter was like, no, it's not possible. And I told him it's possible. And he said, how? And I was able to explain to him. And so I wasn't the one that was nailing the tile to the ceiling. I just gave the carpenter my specifications and I stayed with him. I walked it through him. The same thing for when I was doing my bathroom's walls and I was telling my tiler, I said, I'm not going to use tiles, I want to use old CD. And I was like, no, could they do? And I was like, oh, I'll do. And he said that two bad company actually made money cash there. Two bad mama pay me money for. And I walked into it because most of those designs, most of them they are in my head. So what I do is that I'll just employ the person that is the so-called experts, and then I will explain my concept to the expert. Presently now I'm working on the building. I'm doing a full building where I'm going to move into. You know, the Waste Museum idea where I'm using presently for the Waste Museum is actually supposed to be my house. So now I'm homeless. I don't have a house because I've donated my house to the Waste Museum. So now I need to build my own house, and that my own house that I want to build, I'm going to be building it with waste. I'm not going to use normal regular brick. I'm going to use tires, glass bottles. So we started the design thinking, we started the group thinking, we started the arrangement already, and you know, hopefully by the end of this year you'll be able to see that. So I'm not going to do that alone because I'm not an architect, I'm not a bricklayer. So on my team I have an architect, I have engineers. So we've started the meeting since January this year. We are still going through all the logistics and all that. Hopefully before June we'll be able to get to site. You know, so that's the way I roll. I don't roll alone. I have
Yeah, so you heard it first on Lights Radio that Auntie Adejumoke is building her house from waste. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. I would like to go with you on that journey. Glass, I just want to stick with that for a second because in the US, 62% of glass ends up in land waste, whereas the opposite is in the UK, 76.5% ends up recycled. Where are we in Nigeria with recycling?
You know, in Nigeria, we have a lot of companies now doing recycling and trying to explore different kind of waste. But we are just starting actually, because many of our waste are still ending up in the landfill. But it's just that we are starting. There's a lot of awareness going on, a lot of trainings are going on. We are hoping the government will be able to come on board and not just talk about it, but actually create a solution that can work. You know, the government have been trying to do a lot of solutions, but the solutions have not worked because they are not really, you know, looking through, trying to put the right peg in the right hole. You know, we pray that our government will stop doing politics and actually look for solutions that work, because people are actually making this work and the government can also make it work. You know, instead of us trying to say, what is in it for me, what can I get, how can I set up a company with 20 billion, I don't care whether it works after 1 year. No, once we can move beyond all that phase and move to actually sitting down, you know, having a town hall meeting where everybody can see, everybody involved, everybody that has been in this space, people that have done one or two things, people that have worked with it and have made it work, for the government to be able to liaise and sit down together with us and say, okay, what have we done, what can be done, and putting the right people there and willing to put, you know, to do the right thing and not just for the money. So once we can put that in place, then we'll be able to do more. But for now, people are just doing it on their own individual level. As a company, I have a lot of my friends that are in the recycling company and that are making it work, but it is individualized. So we need to now get to a point whereby everybody synergize, everybody comes together and say, okay, what am I doing? What are you doing? How can we put all what we are doing together and then make it work, and then let the government also come on board and say, okay, these are the people that I have on my space. What can we leverage on? Who is doing what? How are they doing it? How is it making it work? You know, put everything together. We have different, there's not just a way I've mentioned, we have glass, we have plastic, we have paper. Some are using paper already. A lot of us are using plastics already. Some are using food waste. Presently now, I'm looking for food waste. I don't even have enough food waste because I started a black soldier fly farm at the Waste Museum here. And under 6 months, we had to stop because we couldn't have access to food waste. You know, for me to go and transport food waste, it was very expensive for me. And I had, fine, even if I'm picking the food waste free of charge, the logistics to get to where I'm going to pick it up was not working for me. And so I realized that it wasn't profitable. But the black soldier fly, the larva, my chickens were eating the larva and they were no longer falling sick, they were not dying anymore. My fish were eating the larva, and so it was good for them. They had good protein, they had good immunity, but I couldn't sustain it. And so when you're looking at food, and you know we still have food waste. A lot of farmers are still wasting food. A lot of markets are still wasting food. But for me to access those waste food is also another logistics. And that is where everybody needs to sit together and look for what will work. You know, one thing I've realized in our space, and not only in the circular economy space, in general, is people like to talk. we talk more
Then
than we
actually
put action to
practice.
it. So there's a lot of circular economy conferences going on, and in that conference they will also be part of the pollution because they will also generate waste and they will also pollute the environment. So what do we talk about? So I always say that when we're talking about circular economy, it is a lifestyle. Until we begin to see it as a lifestyle, we are not going to move anywhere, because it is what you and I need to be living 24 hours. So it means that it will enter into our decision making, it will enter into our plans, it will enter into our how we relate at home, what we do with our waste, what we buy, what we purchase, how we dispose of it. It is a 24 hours lifestyle that you cannot go on break for. But presently now, people are still going on break for it. People are still just coming to talk about it. And guess what? The fund is actually going more to the talker than the doer. Because the doer is busy doing something. He doesn't have time to be doing merry-go-round and trying to be writing application. Whereas people that are not working, they're not doing anything, they're getting grants, they're winning funds. Presently now, I'm struggling with funds. I'm struggling with making payments to some of my suppliers. Why? Because some people are not buying. Many people don't want to buy upcycle. They don't even want to be seen buying upcycle because they feel that it reduces them when they buy upcycled gifts. So they will prefer to go to China and go and import gifts from China, empowering another country instead of empowering. So those are the challenges that we're facing. But that is part of life. That is what makes us stick. That is what makes us to be living. That is what gives us sleepless. That is what gives us life and energy. So we're not seeing it as challenge. We're seeing it as part of the stepping stone that we will one day step on and we will one day get there. But one thing I know that is that if we don't give up, one day, all the things will click. All the dots will be dotted and all the T's will be crossed. If we don't give up, one day, all our desires, all the things that we envisage. I'm looking at a world whereby there is no waste. I know that it is possible because I've tried it with my own personal life. I've used myself as a guinea pig, and this is what I'm still living, this is what I'm still doing, and it's working for me. And if it works for me, it can work for anybody that decides to do it. But it takes everybody getting up and saying, I want to live a circular economy lifestyle.
We have to be intentional about it. We have to be intentional about being sustainable. Stop playing lip service to it. We need to now start to act and talk less. And I like the fact that, fortunately, you've gone to schools. I think I want to take us back there, but just to welcome one of our crew members, Haja Wasila. She's been in the waiting room all along, but this conversation was too sweet to even notice that there was somebody in the waiting room. Sis, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thanks for joining us. So I want to take you back to the school. Is there a sustainability plan for those schools that you visited, such that you are checking back on them to see where are we now, what you've learned, what have you done with it? Maybe even set up school clubs, all this press club and the debaters club and all of that, but this time around an ESG club in the school, and it's being monitored, and NYC camps, we're going into the camps to get them, start to think about
Yes.
Talk to us.
Yes, we're trying to do that, just like what I said. We are limited by a lot of things, but we're not letting that limitation to stop us. So for example, now if we had gone to 40 schools and we cannot have the capacity to go back to the 40 schools, we go back to at least 2, we go back to at least 4. So that's what I've been trying to do. So there's even a particular school that we've been going back to because it's closer to us. The logistics to get to that school is smaller, so we go back. So we may not be able to do the full capacity of the extent to which we have spread our tentacles, but we are still showing up to the little that we can show up to.
Thank you for doing that. Just to corroborate your assertion about the need for the government to help, I remember speaking with an NGO, Cisco Foundation, when I picked up half a ton of litter last year for the Ramadan project, and I spoke to them. I said, the waste, can't you put up bins that are clearly labeled? For example, a bin for food waste, a bin for glass. It was glass that was my main issue because of when I learned that 4,000 years before it actually decomposes. I thought that's a long time. We really need to do something about glass. So I talked to her and she said, either Omonile will charge you for coming to pick up that waste when you come back, or Omonile will take that waste bin, as huge as you think it is, and take it home and say it is his. I couldn't stop laughing. So yes, we do absolutely need buy-in from government because it's very difficult for individuals to do it. But the question that popped to my mind are there associations that at least that we can leverage on?
I think, Mariam, before she answers, let's have Haja Wasila at least say hello to our guest and, at least one or two things. I know it's almost time up. We're going to be leaving soon, but at least you're here. You're here. Let's hear from you as well. Sis, While we have her come back, yes, Miriam, go ahead, please. Okay,
Yeah,
she's on mute. She's on mute.
Madam.
All right. Good afternoon, Madam Jumoke. Thank you very much for this. Sorry, I'm just going in, so I don't know much. I don't have much to say except to greet and just listen.
Okay.
Well done.
Okay, thank you, sis. All right, Miriam, go ahead, please.
Yes, this will have to be the final question, ma'am. So when talking about I asked another question when you were gone. I want to ask you about the tin coated steel, so paint containers. Are you doing any work on with those? Because we know that tin is something that goes through our body easily, so our liver can and kidney kind of metabolizes it easily. So if we were to plant, unlike microplastic, if we plant in plastic containers, the risk of microplastic getting into our food, the amazing thing is that plants are very good with getting rid of bad things anyways, but still, planting our food in plastic bags as is the norm, oftentimes, especially when people are trying to plant in urban areas. How can we, is it, the point, have you been using, I think that's the question, have you been using tin coated steel, so paint buckets that are disposed, and how has the use of that, how have you found that?
One thing I realize is that there are so many things that okay, I would say choosing between two evils. In our organic garden campaign that we normally do, we advise people to use any container that is available around in their environment. For example, you have a bucket that is broken, you can turn it into a planter. You have a tire that you're no longer using, put it at the back of your car and put water. We believe that if you grow, in the container that you are planting, you are putting soil, you're not using any form of chemical anymore, you're not going to spray with pesticide, you're not going to spray with store-bought chemical, and you're just putting your soil, your natural soil inside it, you're just planting your food right inside it. I'm not on the experiment, I'm not on the sciences, but I think that is better than you buying the so-called store-bought plants that one farmer sprayed chemicals on before they plant, sprayed chemicals on immediately they finish planting, sprayed chemicals on before they brought it for you to the garden, to the market. So it's like you are choosing your own evil. You are choosing to either grow your own food and ensure that at least there's no chemical that's going on your food. Whether you now plant that food inside plastic container, or you plant it inside tire, or plant it inside, we plant as much as even inside crocs. Let me show you. This is a crocs. You know that this is space and it takes soil. We plant inside soil. We plant inside crops like this. There's so many plants that can grow inside this place. Anything that can hold soil, we encourage people to use it to plant.
Okay.
You understand? That is
yes.
Maybe if you, as a scientist, you can now do the experiment for us and see whether if I use a clay bucket or a tire to plant compared to somebody that is spraying chemical on it on the farm. If you can help us do research, we would love to see it.
Amazing. Definitely is definitely a lesser evil using those plastic containers. No, I agree. Than the chemicalized food, it absolutely is. But maybe tin coated steel is still lesser because tin itself is not good for us, but our body can metabolize it better than it does with plastic. That was just the reason I asked that question.
Mariam, I think you've thrown a challenge your way. You scientists get together and support this sustainability movement and come up with empirical research on which is better, so we can further deepen the conversation on approaching the lesser evil for ourselves. I think that's the challenge here. Take it up.
Yes. I noted, ma.
Good.
I need to round up at this point, and so the only way to do so is to thank you so much. I would have given you the Oriki of it, but since you say you are Ibadan, so then I would have to say thank you so much to our or your queen. I don't know your Oriki yet, but I don't know your Oriki yet. But at least I can end on this note. Oh, your loba. Oh, your loba.
Apart from the one that they use in Egba, apart from the one that they use in the bad as they actually have another good pledge. I mean, what we like anthem in Oyo now. Aṣíwájú ni wá,
Okay.
aṣíwájú ni wá, aṣíwájú ni wá, aṣíwájú ni wá. Ìbò aṣíwájú lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ Ọ̀yọ́. They have a very beautiful, anthem in Ọ̀yọ́ State, and that is so good. Ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀jẹ̀ àṣegírí, ọmọ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká tẹ̀ra mọ́ṣẹ́, ká bára wa sọ̀rọ̀, ká sòdodo, ká jẹun, ká kíni, ká ṣe ohun tó tọ́ tó dára nígbà gbogbo, níbi gbogbo fún ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Kò ní ẹ̀yìn o lójú mi, kò ní ẹ̀yìn o, kò ní ẹ̀yìn o lójú mẹ́tẹ̀mí, kò ní ẹ̀yìn o. Èyí á ṣe ohun tó tọ́ tó dára nígbà gbogbo, níbi gbogbo fún ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Aṣíwájú ni wá, aṣíwájú ni wá, aṣíwájú ni wá, aṣíwájú.
Aṣíwájú làwa náà, àwa ò ṣọ́
Yes.
aṣíwájú làwa náà, àwa náà ti claim it.
Thank you so much for sharing the anthem with us. On this note, we wrap up the program, The Other Woman. Thank you very much, Madam Adejumoke
Olówó.
Olowo Waste. It's bye for now. Bye-bye.
The recording of this so that we can share it.
Yes.
Share the recording with me.
Yes, we'll definitely do that. We will. Thank you very much.
Thank you yourself. Bye-bye.